Yeah, what you're saying, base boxing basement. Remember, please everybody, like, because myself and other small channels are constantly under attack. You don't say the right thing, yeah, by YouTube and also haters. So if you like, it gives a degree of protection. So yeah, do that thing. It don't cost nothing, not a thing. So, so, world world title combat this weekend. So we got a show in Monte Carlo, right? It's a DAZN show, Eddie Hearn's show, right? Yeah, it's a nice posh little show in Monte Carlo, Monaco. Um, it's I don't know. They've had a few little shows there. Yeah, I wonder if it's like. I mean, it could be quite expensive. There's a lot of money out there. I guess Joe will be getting a half decent payday, especially against someone who's no world beater. But yeah, I don't know. Is it a kind of dinner show thing? Whatever, man. You know, it's probably just a social event for these people. Yeah, Eddie Hearn probably be going out, partying with the rich people. You know, that probably he can't even touch. They got way more money than him. Yeah, and the brasses and the yayo. You know, it'll probably be rich person's party time. It's just an event, right? And you know what? It's not the worst little show in the world. You know what I mean by that. Uh, it's only got 4 fights that are booked on Box Track. I don't know if there'll be any more last minute ones. You never know, but you know, I mean that if things end early, that could be a quick show. They got two world title fights. Two world title fights. Yeah. And so Joe is fighting a guy called Miguel Vazquez, another Vazquez. You know, it's impossible to follow all these all these guys. You know, all these Mexicans, Hernandez, Gonzalez, Vasquez, Garcia. It's all the same, bro. I just can't keep up with it. I can't keep up with it. Who else is it? The undercard, they got Ramla Ali. You remember Ramla Ali, She's like, her story is, I escaped Somalia where there are evils to women's and there was a war and I escaped to the UK. They want everyone to come to Europe, don't they? From all around the world. But yeah, and I started boxing and I'm a Muslim, but I started boxing as a woman and yeah, I'm with my oil drilling, my oil driller. Huh? I'm pretty and I'm a model. I've got my oil drilling boyfriend. But and she was flashing mad symbols at her last wedding. You remember that, right? Anyway, her mad symbols didn't help her. She got flattened, and it's so rare for a woman to get flattened. I mean, I might watch a few women's fights if they actually showed a bit of power. But I don't know, man. I mentioned Ramla's chin wasn't too good. I mean, they were definitely wanting to push her because her story, to be a big superstar, it doesn't take much to do well in women's boxing because there's hardly any women boxers. There's only like 1,500 or something, and about 3/4 of them are champions of some description. So she's got the face, the looks, the story, the agenda to push, and she's obviously been bought by them, as you can tell by all her, pushing of the signals. Whatever, man. Whatever. They'll probably like her in Monte Carlo. There's probably a few rich oil drillers who want to get hold of her, and they'll have the money. Believe that. That oil driller probably ain't got nothing like the money they got in Monaco. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's the most wanted passport in the world. You know what? If you're a Monegasque, right, which I think means you have a passport from Monaco, you're a Monegasque, yeah, you get special dispensation for housing and stuff like that. They're not allowed to. I think you can get special rent rates, right? The other foreigners can't actually, don't get afforded. They don't get given the reduced rates to foreigners, so they look after them a lot. I don't know, man. I suppose if you're a half good looking girl and you got not a lot going through except your looks and your pum pum, it might be a nice place to hang out. But yeah, so yeah, Joe Cordina's over there fighting. Joe's a weird one, man. It reminds you a bit of Josh Kelly, kind of pretty boy who he's got some skills, but I don't know. I never thought he'd really make it to the world level. I mean, I didn't think he'd win the world championship. He surprised me. I thought Ogawa would beat him. He ironed him out. Yeah. And then Rakimov, I thought would beat him, but he boxed well and put over Rakimov. You know, you know. And I thought he was a guy who didn't. One of the guys that doesn't really like boxing. That's what I thought. I may be wrong. And he's kind of in some ways obviously he's Welsh. He probably I just thought he'd be quite a big star, but he just hasn't. I don't know what it is, man. Maybe he doesn't do enough press, get enough beefs, whatever, man. But yeah, he's a decent enough fighter. I underestimated him twice already, and you don't need to underestimate him as Edward Vazquez, who's whack. He got that. He's number 12 according to Boxer in the USA. Imagine that. He's the 12th best American super featherweight, right? And the 51st, according to Boxer in the world. But he shouldn't be in there with Cordina. He doesn't beat anyone of any significance. He can't punch. He got one loss. Yeah, he's I think a guy called Raymond Ford or something like that. Another guy who is okay, but no great shakes, man. No great shakes. And on the other card, you've also got a guy called Sivnati Nontshinga from South Africa. Yeah, from South Africa. Obviously, he's not a Boer. He's a light fly. Usually them Boers are big, but Heki Budler was a light fly as well, wasn't he? I always think of Boers to be like Franz Botha characters. But Franzi Botha, Kali Noetzi, Jerry Khotzia, whatever his name was. However you pronounce it, So he's fighting some bum, Curiel or something, I don't know. He's guys, can't punch. He's lost 4 fights. Forget about it. I don't care anymore. It's light flyweights. Suleiman Sissoko. So he's an alleged Frenchman from Senegal. Yeah. And he's fighting a guy called Isaiah Lucero, light middle, who's not a bad. That's not a bad fight. That's not a bad fight. So like I say, it's quite a fun little show. Right? I don't expect much from Edward Vazquez, The question is just whether or not he'll get KO'd. And it's hard to tell when someone has been stopped or been put over, or I haven't even watched him, and I'm obviously not going to bother watching him, just look at his record. And he hasn't fought anyone like especially, or hasn't beaten anyone especially good, then it's hard to know. But I would expect, unless Vazquez, I'd expect Cordina to stop him. It's a hard one to predict. It's certainly not a betting fight, really. It's a hard one to predict because you've got an unproven guy who hasn't got a lot of form to go by against a world-class fighter. Right? And he could well KO him. Cordina's his power seems to have improved recently, since Conor Benn, Felix Cash, Cordina, got together, didn't they, under Sims. And they seem to develop some power, some egg-produced power with the eggs. Yeah. They suddenly got real muscular as well. Them pictures of Conor Benn and Felix Cash and sitting there. The other one, John Ryder, that's another one, man. He seemed to be destined for British level. And then he went up to world level. Just great muscular kind of big head guy, he fought Canelo, went the distance. Good luck to him, but I look at his body. I'm like, come on, you're not telling me that's natural. Yeah, the same thing with Ben. The same thing with Felix Cash. You remember what Ben looked like when he started? Yeah, John the Gorilla Ryder. He looked like a white gorilla, to be honest with you. They exist, by the way, white gorillas, I think. They're quite rare, but they exist, the white gorilla. So he's a white silverback, isn't he? But they develop these really muscular physiques and power around the same time. So, and you got to think, Tony Sims is a bit dodgy himself, isn't he? Yeah. What did he do? Well, yeah. He was training Gay J for the first 70 fights of Gay J's career. Gay J, the prima donna prince of PED consumption. Yeah. So the first 17 contests he trained him, and the first 22 he was in his corner. Right, and what does that include? Well, that includes the time Sims oversaw Gay J when Gay J put on 12.5 pounds of muscle. Right, in under 6.5 weeks over Christmas. In between fights, between Hrvoje Kesicek, which is what I think it's pronounced, and Dorian Dutch, he put on 12.5 pounds. Now go and do a quick search, right? Go and do a quick search and find out if it's possible to put on 12 pounds of muscle, or how, in 6 weeks. Yeah. You find most of the people say that most of these guys are like, no way, you can't put on 5 pounds of muscle in 6 weeks. You should be, if you put on 2 pounds, you'd be doing well, right? So it's impossible to put on 12.5 pounds of raw muscle. And let's look at them, right? Let's check out both the weigh-ins. Check out both the weigh-ins against Kesicek and Dorian Darch. Okay? So, like, Gage, you can see, is very muscular in both of them. Both lean and muscular. But you can see there's a very pronounced bulk that's been put on him in the Dorian Darch fight, right? And, like I said, you cannot put on 12.5 pounds of muscle in under 6.5 weeks. Yeah. Without drugs especially, it's impossible. And it's even virtually impossible with roids. And imagine who knows what he must be taking, man. He's some super powered roids, blood. Yeah. There's not any fat on him in either picture. He's as lean as anything. But the one is much, I wouldn't say much bulkier. I mean, but noticeably bulkier. In the second one, especially around the shoulder area. So, Sims has got to be under suspicion. I think he's another one of these villainous peeps. But anyway, so back to Cordina fighting Miguel Vazquez. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see anything. You couldn't predict anything except a Cordina win on the back of that. Unless you're from Vazquez's family or his trainer. Yeah. The question is just, would he stop him or not? This is just much of a guess as anything, because I've never seen Vazquez fight, nor will I until the fight, because there's no way I'm looking for any of that footage, right? So I'm guessing this. I reckon Cordina will stop in the later rounds, 9 to 10 rounds. I reckon seems reasonable to me. It's around 10, in front of a subdued Monte Carlo crowd who don't really know about boxing, but they're happy to have a nice dinner, champagne, and a nose up while they watch the boxing. So yeah. Another Eddie Hearn DAZN success story in Monaco. Peace.